We often say senior year is not your hardest year, but it's your busiest year. Though it may sound harsh, it's fairly binary. You either overcome the challenges, succeed, see the light at the end of the tunnel, or you don't overcome the challenges and you fail the course. And I think when you put it in those terms, students feel a sense of urgency to get things done. Have them fail. Fail at planning, fail at trying to allocate responsibilities and allocate time. You want them to fail now before failing when they go out there in the real world. I think it's all right to see them fail. You almost encourage it. You're happy to see it at times.
It was ultimately a failure, but it was a good start.
Like the saying goes, fail early, fail often.
We originally came up with this project in an apartment. It was 3 of my closest friends. Morgan, our project manager, Kyler is our ocean lead, and Cameron, who's our communications lead. We all sat down and were like, hey, why don't we have a project where all of us can get into it? We could bring ocean into it, we could bring aerospace into it, and we just started brainstorming. We came up with this kind of idea where we could have it for military purposes or civilian purposes. We thought that was the best route. We pitched that to our advisor, Dr. Wild, and he loved it, and he went with it since then. So the point of our project is to try to make a drone that's able to both fly and submerge underwater. Our plan is half in the air, half in the water. Hopefully over time we'd be able to make it a reusable mission. For right now it's a proof of concept, so we're trying to get a one and done, so we get a swim for 3 minutes, take off from the water, and fly for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm kind of OCD. Yeah.
Very organized person.
Yes. A little too organized sometimes, if you ask me. But it works. Okay, take the hair sail.
Wait, okay. Nope.
I don't think female really has any aspect to it. As a team lead, it's just how your characteristics are pretty much. You have to be organized. You have to be able to instruct people what they need to do and enforce it in a way. So I grew up in a smaller town in Wisconsin. Where I live, I have about 2,000 people there. It's a town where not many people really get out, especially out of Wisconsin. I really want to do aerospace, so I looked up a lot of schools. I really want to play basketball. So to leave the state, those two kind of added up to come here. I played a lot of sports pretty much. Played basketball most of my life. I played soccer. I played 3 years basketball here, and then this last year I wanted to work a lot on my project. And my original plan was to do fast track, so I was going to have my normal course load along with like 6 credits of grad courses, and that's just a lot of time. And I figured I wasn't really going anywhere else with basketball, so I decided to stop. Yeah.
Our team is made up of 12 senior engineers. We have 10 aerospace engineers, we have 1 ocean engineer, and we have a physics major as well.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Well, working with the machine shop a lot, as an engineer, you're always just worried about the design part of it, of all the parts, and analyzing it properly. But Through this semester, I've learned how we make a design for a certain part, and it's not always so easy for them to actually make that part. So it's a good connection, like industry-wise.
So we did our first waterproofing test. It went better than I expected. Our buoyancy's right where we want it. We had a couple of leaks in the hull, so we have to go back. We have to recaulk everything up, redo the waterproof, let it set, and then we're gonna try again. Hopefully we could get it to where it's fully waterproof today, so tomorrow or tonight we could throw electronics in it and have it run underwater.
I'm Lan Mohammed. I'm from Cocoa, Florida.
She's a good team lead. She's a good leader. I would follow her anywhere, honestly. Yeah.
The project's name is Aries. It's part of a competition project, or it is a competition project. We're going to NASA in May, like to Kennedy Space Center in May to go do these competitions. And what it is we have to pretend like we're on a Martian surface and be able to mine up the regolith and be able to take it back to a collection bin and dump it. And the goal of it is to collect the most in order to score higher points and overall win the competition.
All right, is it 9 volt in place?
Nope. Okay,
Where's the 9 volt? Where the blue lines are is what we've completed and the gray lines are what we haven't completed. So we're about 4 weeks behind in total.
Because this semester is really tough on a lot of us.
Time. Time has not been on our side at all this semester. As long as we have a structural finish on it for the showcase, that's what our minimum goal is. But we want to make sure that it is completely finished, fully tested by the time we go to competition, which is in mid-May.
I am part of the pep band here on campus. I'm actually the conductor. And then as well as I'm part of ASME, which is the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. Maybe not for this year's teams, but for teams in the future, they'll look and see, oh, there were actually a lot of female leaders in the senior design teams. It's spring break, so they're all on spring break mode right now. Between me, Jake, and Dominic, we've been trying to get everything back on track with the whole, with us being so far behind schedule. We're just trying and working so hard to get things even remotely ready for showcase. We're actually starting our layup of carbon fiber today. So we're gonna be putting this giant sheet of carbon fiber into the shape of a box. And then we're gonna be working on some of our other molds, getting them circular. So we're just getting everything set up and moved over to the machine shop. We finally hit a home stretch where we can get a lot of parts done at once and we can get a lot of everything set up. Like all of this that's set up is to be done today. And the fact that we can do that means that we will actually make it to the end of the semester with a finished robot. It's gonna be hard to make it just because we have so many parts that have to get done.
Just wet the carbon out.
Yeah.
Put it on the part and then it'll be stuck there forever. Laying the parts up is the easy part. Making the molds good and good enough for parts is difficult. So your resin plays a huge factor in how strong or flexible your material is going to be.
So for showcase, we're going to be doing a electronics board. So all of the electronics that we have on our test bed are going onto a plywood stand, and we're going to have that all hooked up to the computer. We're going to run it just like it would be for the robot itself. So at least show that our electronics work and we have the logic all prepared. This is finished. So this is a finished part. This is one of our wheel spokes. It's at about full strength, can't really bend. Where we need it is in compression strength, which is pretty strong. This is a completed part. So it's really exciting for our team to finally have parts made, and it's just wonderful. Has me in a really good mood lately.
Audrey?
Audrey, where are you? There you are!
My name is Michael Graff. My daughter's name is Audrey. She just turned 2 in October. Best thing ever. Smarter every day. She's learning to speak sentences and words, and
I pee my bed.
she learns something every day, which is good for everybody. You know, I try to learn something every day, and I see her actually learn something every day.
He's just so sweet and kind to people, like strangers, and such a gentleman, which you don't really find nowadays. I think that's what really attracted me to him, was just him as a person, just so caring. And to see him as a father, it makes that even more apparent now.
So, you know, I have 2 aspects of life. I can go home and sometimes I can do homework, but if the wife's not there, I have to watch the baby, so I can't necessarily just get right on homework. So it could be, you know, 2 or 3 in the morning before I'm going to sleep most nights.
It's been really long hours of him doing homework and super dedicated to it, and talks about it at dinner time. Like, he's constantly, his brain's always working on it, you know, and really never takes a break from it. But he's super passionate about school and his degree, so it's nice to see him really focused on it. But it's been crazy.
We're doing humanitarian work for any kind of country or developing nation that's suffering from natural disasters, post-natural disasters.
There's such a big need. There's millions and millions of people who can take advantage of this system.
So what we're proposing is building semi-permanent structures that can withstand the elements and just provide a better living standard for them during that recovery process. We're going to develop we have a mold that will take plastic preforms. They'll be injected with air, and they'll create these blocks that can be stacked, and they can build structures out of them, sort of like Legos.
So the main challenge that we're facing right now is acquiring these plastic preforms, which is essential for our project.
They are small plastic cylindrical pieces. They are heated to a certain temperature. They're put inside of our mold that we've designed, and then when they're injected with high pressure air, it takes the shape of the cavity, and then that shape is what gives us the Lego blocks.
We told Dr. Morcas that it just wasn't possible to get them from them. So he's like, all right, do anything you have to do to get these preforms. Do anything you have to do. He's like, I don't care if you have to go drive to a company to get these preforms. He said your whole project's based around them, so you have to get them somehow. Being
resourceful is unbelievably important, and looking at what you have, what you can get out of it, what you can make with it, and trying to utilize that. And, you know, for instance, we saw that with the outreach team where they were trying to find these 5-gallon jugs. I mean, we almost went to the point where we said, can we get a 5-gallon jug and reverse it back to a preform, right, which is really not possible.
So we spoke with this company, sent them an email, and they responded right away. And they said that they can donate 30 preforms and ship them over here for free. And so we're going to have them within the next week, which will be just in time when our mold is complete and our oven is done, and we can start testing right away.
So coming off of last week, we were pretty depressed because the oven was too hot.
We just turned on the oven, and now we're just waiting for it to heat up. But there's some smoke because of all the burnt plastic inside.
Now coming on this week, we managed to find the right temperatures, and in the end, we got this beautiful thing.
I'm exploding on the inside. This is probably the most beautiful thing I've seen all year.
Very excited. Just pretty close to what we wanted. Pretty close.
My name is Savannah Phillips. I am a senior studying mechanical engineering, and my project is the Formula car. So this project is every year. Every year there's a new car. They try to make modifications to it every year, make it faster, lighter, better. I'm the team lead. Basically, I just really have to work with the team to be organized, make sure we're on top of things, we're ordering the right things, we're staying on schedule. I handle a lot of our senior design requirements and things like that. Making sure, basically I just have to make sure this car gets built. It's definitely a challenge to try to get everything accomplished. because you have school and then work and then other extracurricular activities. But Formula definitely starts to take over your life and becomes a priority over other things. I grew up raising pigs and like having a lot of animals and livestock and like doing the whole like country life a little bit. Like yeah, it's definitely like a big difference in like industry-wise and like concepts a little bit. Like fuel injectors versus like carburetor. Like I had to like figure out what all that was, and it was it was definitely like a learning curve. Like, but I have a great team, so they like help me out definitely. So we have 17 seniors. We're broken up into like 3 different sub-teams. So we have like our powertrain, our suspension, our chassis and aero, and each like sub-team is responsible for getting their components of the car done, completed, and then also making sure that it's gonna be compatible at the end with everyone else's components. Powertrain's in charge of the engine, obviously, the exhaust, the cooling system, all the wiring, the brakes, our data acquisition system, pretty much anything that's really going to make the car move and stop. That is what they're in charge of. Our suspension is kind of in charge of the wheels, the uprights, so getting everything from the wheel attached to the car. The shocks, the rockers, things like that. The steering they're in charge of a lot of that. And then finally our chassis and aero sub-team is in charge of obviously the chassis, the frame of the car, and then our entire aerodynamics package. So the whole body, we have 2 side pods, and the seat. Per the rules, we have to build a new car every year. We have to have a brand new chassis every year. So that's kind of like a misconception that people don't know, but yeah, it's a great project and I really like it. Yeah, like I'm just trying to make sure like finalize all our competition stuff and make sure that like all of our hotels are good and like the travel plans, making sure like all the right forms are filled out. I feel like half the time all I do is like fill out forms, like paperwork and stuff like that. It's looking good. So we're just like really trying to finalize the last couple things so that we can get the car running and then hopefully testing very, very soon. I'm excited because it just means that like we're getting close to the end and we're like close to finishing, but it's also like very stressful because there's so much to do and it feels like we don't have enough time to do it all, but I know we're gonna get it all done. Best day of the year, yeah.
I must tell you, out of the 14 years that we've been doing this, this is the most astonishing set of projects I've ever seen. I'm overwhelmed with what a great job our students have done.
At this point, you got to go around and everybody's been focused on engineering for the past year, right? Whether it's making sure my product has the appropriate fatigue cycle or can handle the amount of stresses imparted on it. What you have to do is almost convert them to salesmen today. They learn to talk about what kind of impact their product has, how it can affect the lives of many, what kind of improvements they've made to the product. So a lot of it is going around and saying, from a technical standpoint, terrific project, but now we need to talk about how are you going to pitch it to others, how are you going to communicate it to others when they come by your table and ask you, what is this?
So right now I'm feeling a little nervous because my team's kind of missing this early in the morning, so I'm by myself. But setup's about halfway done. We're waiting on a couple things to come in with one of the team members. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day.
We got everything set up. We have our control surfaces moving. We're working on the wings right now. There's just a little friction in them, so we're trying to figure it out quick. I think judging starts soon, so everything's set up though, so we're good. We're also like really low in sleep this whole week, so we're all kind of really tense right now. But once we get started, we'll be fine.
He's having a baby. He got a boy. 8 pounds, was it?
8 pounds 3 ounces, 21 inches. His name is Oliver Michael Graff. So I didn't make the senior design showcase, not because I was having a baby, because my wife was having a baby, and I was there because she would have killed me if I wasn't.
I think we're in a good spot. We have all our posters out, we have our videos playing, the car is looking pretty good. I mean, I think we're really prepared. We really know our designs well, even though not everything is necessarily on the car and fully assembled right now. We know what we're doing, we know what our plan is, and we're able to talk to the judges about what we're going to do, what our future plan is, and really explain to them the overall concept of what the car is. Yeah, the team's working well together, so everyone's doing their part. Because right now, it's at a good level because we're all here. The posters look good, the car looks good, the team looks good. So there's no stress right now, but ask me in a couple of days and we'll probably be stressed again.